Well, I've just got back from the boot fair and I've spent all my money. It's a bit unusual. Well, it's not unusual lately, actually. I'm spending loads of money, some of it on empty cardboard boxes. But we won't talk about that. In actual fact, the cardboard box wasn't empty. It had some bits, and I'm hoping I might even make my money back on that. But here's today's finds. May have overpaid on some bits, may have got some bargains on some bits. Who knows? Time will tell. But I'm going to flip you around now and crack on. Okay, where to start? Well, let's get my little price book so I know what everything cost. I have actually written it all down, cleared it out of the car. Vintage wallpaper, Crown. These two rolls, so it's a new roll and one that's been like a bit used. They were £2. I bought 3 rolls of Crown vinyl a couple of years ago, or maybe last year. It really was 70s orange flowers, and I think I sold the 3 rolls for 70 from memory. So I'm hoping maybe a roll and a half might get me 20 to 30. We will see. The entry and parking for this boot fair was £4. If you're totting up how much I spent, but it was I've come to 215 total spend. Right, the PS1, which is down here and has a controller, no power lead, but it's just a 8 lead. I went round the first time and the bloke said 25, and then when I went round just before I was coming home, it was either his girlfriend or his daughter. I'm not too sure which, because I can't remember how old the bloke looked. But she was sat there, and I said, "How much is that?" And she said, "Oh, I think it was 15." So I was kind of interested then, and I said, "Well, how about 10?" And she said, "Well, it'll be back in a minute if you want to wait." And I didn't really want to wait, obviously, because I knew he'd probably say 25. So I said, "Well, I'm going. Look, it hasn't got a power lead." And she went, "All right, and 10." And I just said to her, "Well, tell him you got 15," which he'll probably still be in a mood about, but there you go. This sort of thing, I think it was £3. I can't quite remember. These couple of bits, I can't remember the price. Terrible, really. I think I'm losing my brain. I think that was 4. It was 3 or 4 anyway. So let's call it 4. And this Sony, again, shortwave on there. Sony always a nice make. Probably be a bit crackly on the sound, but just a bit of a clean up, and put some electrical cleaner in there. That was £3. Right, we're getting to some stuff now. I might have overspent. This one, hang on, there was a game with this. In fact, in actual fact, there were 2 games. And I was talking to Luke, and while I was mulling this over, it's totally scratched up. Also, the power input is not there. So it's a for parts, piece, definitely. He wanted £20, and I was like saying, "Look, it's for parts. I'd only do like a £5 for parts." And he wasn't budging. He really wasn't budging. And then I kind of got him to 40. Well, I bought it for 14. We got to 15 and then a bit less. I just thought, well, with 2 games, it might be worth 14. And I did actually look it up. I don't often look up in the field how much things are worth, but for parts, an Atari Lynx, and it's probably for parts in better condition than this, because that's knackered. I will open it up and sort of have a look around it, but for parts, I think a good looking one maybe is £40. So, but I have seen. It's only the second time I've ever seen a Lynx, and I regretted not buying the first one I saw. So we'll see how that goes. You got to try. Label printer thing. I always pick these up if I can. Battery needs cleaning. It's all gunked. Not too bad. But that was £2. He wanted 5. I gave him 2 when I showed him the battery. Always show them the battery and say that won't work. Sharp typewriter. It has got the manual here somewhere. That was a 5. Wanted 10, paid in 5. So that wasn't bad. The tool belt. I've never sold tool belts, and it might be useful to keep. I think this is the first thing I bought. I've been round like half of it and hadn't bought anything. So yeah, that was £3.50. So I might keep it for myself if I'm painting something, or see what they go. Give it a clean up. See what they go for on eBay. I did see Luke, who I often see at Rose Hill, and I've seen him at some other boot fairs as well, and Jumble Sales, and Darren, who was the guy who bought the other CB radio, and they both asked me, have you sold any milk bottles? Which, if you're wondering, I have sold one. I sold one milk bottle for £6 plus postage, so I'll be packing that up today. I had an offer on another one, which is a Lego one. I've got it up for 20, and I've got an offer for 10. So I didn't accept the offer, just declined it. But yeah, out of my £95 spend, I have 40 bottles left, and I've got sales of £6. So once you take fees off, probably a £5. Anyway, there we go. Back on with the haul. Okay, big spend time. We have a Spectrum Plus 2. It has like a joystick interface thing with it. I don't know if I can get out where it is. I used to know the old Kempton joystick ports. I don't know this one, Turbo, and it's got I think it looks like a printer connection thing here. Not too sure. The box is knackered, even though you're seeing the good side here. The other side is a big side of it missing. And the Spectrum also doesn't have a power supply. But I have been wanting to get hold of a Spectrum, and I've been trying to do a deal with a guy who sold me a load of audio on Facebook Marketplace, but he seems to be taking forever to sort out what he's actually got. So this Spectrum Plus 2, it has with it 100 games. Okay, they're all here. It's got Sam Fox's Strip Poker in there somewhere, and Barbarian, which has got a bit of a risque cover. So 100 games. I would say about just less than half of their boxes. So there's a bit, maybe 45 have boxes, 55 don't. There is some sort of demo, maybe 10 demo cassettes that you used to get with magazines. They might be worth nothing. They might be worth something. It's like called the Crash. I used to buy Crash Sampler. They might be actually worth more than games. I don't know whether collectors go for that sort of thing. Anyway, the price of all this stuff. So 100 games. Spectrum. He wanted, this is a new one on me, he wanted a long one. He wanted a long one. I thought, what's the long one? Well, I kind of guessed it was 100, and it was 100. And this was the last thing I bought at the boot fair, and he cleaned me out. First of all, he said, well, make me an offer. And I hate it when people do that. So I didn't want to say £2. So I said 20 quid, and he still laughed. So I said, well, how much do you want for it? And he said 100, and he was going, oh, you make it back on the games, la-di-da-di-da. And in the end, I wanted to buy it, and I was kind of thinking 60 in my head, but the quantity of games, 100 games, you could say a quid each, you could say 50p each, even if you go like 50p each on all of those, and that for parts for 20 quid, it's a good buy. And in the end, I just said, look, I only had 70 quid left on me, 70 quid and some loose change, and he gave it to me for 70 quid. So I might, who knows, have I overspent on that? I've got no idea. I don't think I have. I did want a Spectrum anyway, because I used to have exactly that computer, and before that computer I had a rubber key Spectrum, and before that we had a ZX81. So it's a bit of a trip down memory lane. And some of these games, I had Enduro Race. That's a great game. There's Outrun in there, which has got great music. Absolute best music on the Spectrum, I think. So there we go. That was 100 quid. That was not 100 quid. It was 70 quid. So yeah, big old spend there. I was thinking of going through these games individually, but I'll probably bore the pants off a lot of people who are subscribed, so I won't do that. Roland Rat, I've had him before. He cost £1. He'll go for 20, I think. Right, done that. Scruples, that was £2. The Heelys, no, I kind of don't like getting Heelys because I have had them before and they hang around, but these were in fairly good condition and apparently they light up. I mean, what's the betting they don't work? But they were £3.50, I think. I think so. Rupert the Bear annuals. I have just sold 4 Rupert the Bear annuals for, I think it was 20 or 25, something like that. You might be able to see it on my comps. I don't know if it will show up because I'm on at a stock option, but it was over 20. They cost £2. This little thing, which needs to clean up, was £8. So, I mean, ideally I'd pick them up for a £5 or less, but sometimes you just can't see them. Another big spend coming up. Just a couple of things left now. This lot. And getting home, and I've looked them up and I'm thinking, might have overpaid. He was quoting me all individual prices of, I want 20 for that, 10, 10, 10. In the end, I got all 6 of them for 60. And I have had the Crash Bandicoots before, and I can't remember which ones I had. I had 3 or 4 of them, and I haven't got the first one here. And I don't think that is a particularly, I don't know. I'll have to look them up. I've done a quick look. I think generally I might be able to double my money. They're £10 each, roughly. I might be able to double my money on 5 of these, and the Tekken maybe is Tekken 2. Maybe that's a bit of a fail, but they are in absolutely excellent condition, fantastic condition. So I mean, at least they're small. We will see. But yeah, I didn't want to let it go really. So let me know if you think that's a bit of a fail or not. Oh, well, you know, it's all learning experience, isn't it? Right, on to the last item, which is a Sony mini displayer with stands and speakers. And I only wanted to get this, but he didn't want to sell me just this, which is understandable. So I had to lug that back to my car, which wasn't pleasant. It cost me 18. This on comps, all of it, excluding the stand. It hasn't got a remote control, which is a bit of a shame. But I think I can get 60, 70 maybe more. And I don't know whether to split out the speakers. What I generally do is split out the unit and the speakers, and sell the speakers for about 20. And the unit, if it works, I'd put on for like 50, 60. It's just easier posting, you know, posting 2 separate things. But I might look at doing it all together. It all depends on what other people are doing, and we will see. But I've sold a mini disc recently, and that was broken, and it went for 30. So again, you know, buying this sort of thing for, you know, ideally I'd want to, if I was buying this separately, I'd buy that for a maximum of 10 and the speakers for 5 max. But seeing as I wanted it, and it does look in excellent condition, it's not scratched up at all, and it's got the stands with it, I thought, well, 18, it's not too bad. So there we go, that is the haul. Hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any questions about any of it, please plop them below. If you think I've overpaid, I mean, a lot of people are saying I've overpaid on things. Let me flip you around. Yeah, I've had a few people say I've been overpaying on things, which is fair enough. Sometimes I think I've overpaid on things, but I am kind of going for it in terms of trying to get some stock in and go mad. So there will be times I'd rather be a bit more daring, and rather than some sort of timid reseller who goes around the boot fair and doesn't buy anything, because you're never going to make any money that way. I bought 4 lots of vintage audio for 180 last week, and I was a bit like, have I made a mistake? Because the first couple of bits I checked, well, the tape recorder needed belts, and the record player needs a grease up, I think. Needs a good grease up. So I was like, oh, what have I done? But then I sold the amp for 180 on its own. So I've pretty much made my money back, and I've still got 3 items to sell, hopefully for, you know, 150, 160 odd. maybe more. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll let you all get on now. But yeah, please like, subscribe, and share. Is that what you say? Yeah, I think it is. And I hope you had a brilliant sourcing. And I'll see you soon.